So today's a no trade day for me, as you can tell. Um, every other Thursday, we have people that come and clean the house. So yeah, today's a no trading day. So I thought I'd take some time to just talk about why it's important to take days off from trading and build a relationship with it that isn't reliant and addictive almost, because I've definitely had that before. A big concept to me is the fact that trading is based on chasing freedom almost. And whenever you become so absorbed and addicted with the charts that you can't take a day off, or you don't want to or you want to show up every single day and trade, then that's when it gets unhealthy. For example, in May, I had my biggest month ever, but I was up till 2 or 3 in the morning every night trading Asia session like a little gremlin, and it's just not sustainable whenever you have other things going on. Like, I love filmmaking stuff, and me and a buddy own a media company called Focus, and that's a big part of my life, and I don't want to throw away my work ethic for that just so that I can squeeze out a couple more dollars per month if I'm up gambling. For me, Asia session is either amazing or absolutely terrible. It's either I trade and the price action is clean, or I end up going on a crazy tilt, and it's like in slow motion too, which is just not ideal. It worked for a while for me, and then when I started losing, I started really losing, and then it would mess with my sleep because it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. A big step for me was deciding to make a trading window. And I mean, even whenever I first started, I heard like TJR talk about this during his boot camp, and you hear people say, "Oh, have a window and stick to it." And it really makes sense because like it shouldn't be absorbing your life, it should be making you more free. You don't want your trading journey to turn into like the same effort as if you were having a 9 to 5. That's the whole point. There's another reason I don't necessarily care to trade today, and that's I've had a great week. And sometimes, whenever you go 3 for 3 on your first 3 days of the week, it's honestly best to just take a step back and just be happy with what you got to walk away with that week. My Lucids are at 1900 balance, so a little over halfway past. And then my funded with Top Step is at 2400, or maybe 2800, something like that. I have 3 out of 5 winning days on my Top Step, and when I get 5 out of 5, I'll be able to request half of that, so that'll be nice. I haven't gotten payout in a while. Like I was saying, my relationship with trading was pretty bad during May. Although I was doing good, I was doing all the wrong things and building all the wrong disciplines and habits, and decided to take a little break for about a month. And then I came back and I started journaling, which is the number one change that I've seen, is just being willing to journal. Journaling is so life-changing, regardless of whether it's trading, eating, just mental health, and anything. Whenever you journal, it brings your subconscious state to a conscious mind. It brings things up that you think that you actually are thinking about, but you're not. And so it almost makes you reevaluate everything. And that's the main reason I'm doing this. Instead of a written journal, I'd like to have a video journal so I can look back in 6 months and see where my head was at and make sure that I'm always improving. Over the next who knows how long, I plan to post every single day on YouTube at least one somewhat long form video, and then at least 4 or 5 times a day on every other platform, including TikTok, Instagram, X.com, and YouTube Shorts. Because right now, I don't have much of a following, that's for sure. My TikTok has like 5K, but that's because I had a viral video back in the day. But I'd like to see my Big Bus Trades accounts, I'd like to see those gain the most traction, and that's what I'm really talking about when I say I want to post 3 to 4 times a day. I want to post at least once a day on all my filmmaking stuff, and whether it's editing content, tutorials, all these things, or just fun stuff that I get to do by owning a camera and putting some work into building that skill. So since this is one of my first physical standing up videos and talking to the camera, I want to kind of go over some numbers just for me so I can see my growth down the line. Big Bus Trades TikTok, 300 followers. Focus TikTok, 1,100 followers. My personal TikTok, 5,000 followers. My Instagram, 1,900 followers. Spendings account, 1,900 as well. We're about to hit 2K, so if you're not following that, go ahead and go follow that. Focus's Instagram, this is probably the worst, and I know that should be doing better, is like 300 or something pretty crappy. And then my Big Bus Trades Instagram account is like 20. I just started it yesterday, so chill on me, but still. Yeah, so that's really my main goal the next few months, is just see how much growth is physically possible, because everyone's going back to school, and that's another video that I'll make, is just the feeling of not feeling left out, although your path is different. But like I had just said on the relationship with trading, and building a not dependent relationship is the best way to do it, in my opinion. I've been trading for 2 years, and I've spent so much time being so dependent on it. Letting my P&L affect the way I treat other people during the day, the way my mood is. Of course, you're gonna have big losing days that you just can't help but be bummed about a little bit, and that's fine. But the more you trade, the more you do, you'll realize that it's really not that extreme of a deal. The more consistent you can be, regardless of the outcome of trading, is the more profitable you'll be. Even whenever I was in my most degenerate stage, where I was more so scalping than anything else, it's like the law of detachment was at play. Like, I didn't care about the results, I just knew they were gonna come. And that's whenever I saw the most growth. And then I started realizing, oh, I don't really have a strategy, I can't really depend on this. And so that's when it fell through and I started losing. But trading can definitely be a virus as well as a blessing. And there would be times when I was at the gym, and in between sets, I would just be looking at my phone, looking at the charts, most random times ever, like 6 p.m. after the market had just came back open. That's just so bad, because I'd be in a trade pretty much from when market had reopened, just because it was a new day and I could try to make more profit. And you wait for that fresh new day, and then you're instantly in trying to get a trade in. And then you're doing stuff in your evening, just like time that you can be productive. And you're sitting there scrolling through the charts and everything else, looking at Top Step, looking at Tradesy, looking at all these platforms, seeing if you can just get one step closer. And a lot of times it actually puts you one step behind. On the journey to becoming the most successful and fulfilling my potential, I've seen that focus is a lot of things. What you focus on, what you think about, it really does affect who you are and what you do and how you operate. So whenever you're sitting there and you're taking trades at the most random time ever, you allow that to become an infection to you, and it takes over your mind and your brain, and that's like the worst thing you can do when it comes to trading. There's a good level of obsession to have with trading, but then there's also an unhealthy level that leads to your own demise and lack of progress. Moral of the story, don't be afraid to take days off the charts, especially when you're winning, because sometimes the best trade you can take is no trade at all, and that's facts. I wish I knew that sooner. Sometimes it can feel so hard to walk away with no trades taken for some reason. And for a long time, I would have rather have taken a loss than walking away with no trades or a break-even trade. That's just kind of how my brain's been wired through the entrepreneurship journey that I've been on. Whenever you lose, you know you can learn from it and you can get better. Break even just sucks sometimes, because you're like, I mean, I was pretty much right, and then you didn't get any reward for it. So to wrap it all up, don't be afraid to step away. Don't be afraid to take days off of the charts. It's not going anywhere. There's always going to be days to trade, especially if you're taking bad trades just because you want to make a trade, and you'll trick your mind into thinking that you're getting one step closer, but you'll actually put yourself further back. So just be careful with that. And yeah, don't be afraid to take days off. Like today, I definitely could have rushed, but I've built a system that I know works, and that's being at my physical desk in my room and sitting down and journaling and recording and being ready to trade. And since I could do that today, but it would have been rushed and it might have been interrupted, I decided not to, because that's just me realizing that there's going to be more days, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to trade. And especially when you have accounts with firms like Lucid, and they give you a one-time fee and there's no reactivation or there's no reoccurring fee every month, then bro, take your time. One max allocation payout across the platform's max, like 5 accounts, is $10,000 minimum, depending on what account size you have. Well, I guess if you do the 25Ks, it's 1,500 times 5, which is 7,500. But a $7,500 minimum for a lot of people, that's like life-changing money. That can be the confluence for you to pursue this for your life. And that's the beauty of trading. Some days the best trade you can take is none at all. And I'll catch y'all later.